we'll go into schoology today. All right, just like always, September 21st through the 25th, the blue folder. Today, September 23rd. Chew and review, more ways of looking at functions. Open that right up. We will be doing this in notability today because this is a worksheet. Love worksheets as well. Sometimes you have to do them. We don't have to do them every day though. So let me go to notability and open this up. And there it is. All right. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to figure out what is the definition of a function, right? So what is the definition of a function? Okay. We've done that for a couple of days. We've worked on it. So if I were going to write it, I would say one input equals one output. That's what I would write. The value, an x value of 1, if it has a y value of 5 on a certain graph, it always has to have the same y value. One input equals one output, okay? X's can repeat, so the values of x can repeat, but the values of y can't repeat, if that helps. So now we're going to use ordered pairs and give us an example of a function and an example that is not a function. So I'm going to do 3 here. Okay, so if it's a function, it would be ordered pair 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. It could even be, if I wanted to be tricky, it could be 3, 3, right? Because we have x values that don't repeat, and each x value just has one y value. So 1 is 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. And that is fine. So that is a function. Not a function. So if I were going to take these same values and make it not a function, right? I would do like 1, 2, 2, 3. And then maybe I would go back and I would do 1, 4, right? So I have a repeating x and I have different values of y, so that's not a function. All right, so we're going to determine if this group of ordered pairs is a function. So number 1, we have 5, -2, 3, -5, 2, -5, 0, -2, and -1, -3. So we're looking for repeating x's. I don't see any repeating x's, and each value of x has one value of y, right? So that is a function. Let's do number 3. -4, -1, -3, -1, -2, -3, 1, 0, and -3, 2. What I want to look for are repeating values of x. Are any of those x's the same? I have, right here I have a -3, and right here I have a -3, and these values, these y values, are different, and so since one input, -3, can only have one output, so it would have to be -1 in both spots or 2 in both spots, this one cannot be a function. All right. So the same principles apply to these. I'll do number 5, and I'm going to have you guys do the rest. x3, 5, -1, 0, 0, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. So I'm going to look for repeating values of x. I have one here, and I have one here, and the y's are different, right? We have a 5 here and a 3 here, so that cannot be a function. And then I'll do number 12. So I want you to do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yourself. Number 12, it's kind of the same thing. I'm looking at -4, -1, -2, and 1. I don't see any repeating x's, so let's see what they correspond. -4 goes to 4. -1 goes to -1 and 7. So can a function go to 2 different outputs? It cannot. So we don't even have to go any further. We know that that's not a function. All right. So now we're going to be doing the vertical line test. So first of all, we need to figure out what the vertical line test is. The vertical line test just says that if a vertical line, so a line that goes up and down, so it would just be if a vertical, and I'm going to draw it, right? So it's a vertical line, intersects a graph more than once, or crosses, right? Because can't write on these things very well. Crosses a graph more than once. It is not a function, so it is not a function, okay? And I'm going to write function up the corner like that. So now we're going to draw a function. So I'm going to draw my x-axis, or my y-axis, I'm sorry, and my x-axis. So a function would be something that goes just like that, right? That would be one example. I'll do another example in a different color. A function, though, could also be something that goes like that. So those are both functions, okay? Let's go back to purple since that's what I'm using. So now an example that's not a function. So there's my y-axis, there's my x-axis. I'm going to change the color so it's easier to see. So not a function would be like a circle, or to put something in blue, it could also be a graph that looks like that. So those are both examples of not a function, okay? So make sure you write these down. So don't just like when you're doing this, when you do the sheet, write this down. All right, so let's do a vertical line test and see if this is a function. All right. So number 14, well, is that a function? So I'll do a little vertical line test here, right? Like, oh man. So I'm gonna just draw my line through here. But I don't see, this is not a continuous graph though, right? This is a discrete graph. And if we look, this line here, so the value of -3 here, right? It lands on two different spots on the line, doesn't it? So the x value of -3 lands on both 1 and on -4. So this one is not a function, okay? So this one, let's just look at the dots before we do anything. So If we connected them, right, we'd have something that looked like this. And if we did our vertical line test, does it just cross in one place? It does just cross in one place. So that's a function. The rest of these are pretty straightforward. Those were the only two that were kind of tricky. Number 20 is a little bit tricky as well. So let me do number 20. So if I skip down here and I'm going to do a vertical line test through a vertical line, right? So that line, that graph just goes straight up and down along that same thing. Two ways of looking at it. So at the value of x with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have y 1, we have 5, 2, we have points all the way along, and the y values repeat, right? So that's not a function, clearly not a function. But if we did the vertical line test, we would have to literally draw a line right through that line, so also not a function. So there's two different ways of looking at it, okay? All right, so you've got those to do. And then this page, all you have to do is answer the question. Which graph represents a function? Circle which one. And there's only 5 problems on this page. So that's your assignment for today. Once you are done with it, submit it through Schoology. If for some reason you feel like drawing this all out in your notebook and sending me a picture, you can do that as well. Whatever works best for you. But that is it. That is the assignment for today.